Well, hey, welcome to the Fade Podcast. What is happening? We have some special guests today. But first, let's take a quick second to say thank you to the Philly Wagon STL for being a sponsor for this show. The Philly Wagon, home of the Super Duper, that's not what they call it. They call it the Super Philly. Foot long Philly. It literally comes with a cape. It's so big you have to cut it in half. Super delicious. So anytime, Philly Wagon STL, check them out. And we are broadcasting live to you from Empire Barbershop right here in Belleville, Illinois. Dave, tell them the address, please.
7624 West Main.
7624 West Main Street here in Belleville. Empire Barbershop. Thank you so much for having us as always. And today, I've got one of my best friends since I was, 13?
Probably
13 at least. Yeah, so this is Dan Johnson. He is owner, operator, amazing artist extraordinaire of, tell him your company, my man.
Knucklehead Kustom Art.
Let's go.
Yep.
Knucklehead Kustom Art LLC. Is that where we find you on Facebook, right?
LLC, yeah. You can Knucklehead Kustom Art and Design. Knucklehead Kustom Art. Yeah, you can look me up on Facebook. Find me on Instagram, Knucklehead Art 777.
We're going to have all the links on the page for everybody, so just make sure you check them out and click them. This was also gifted to us. Show them again real fast so they can see it. He gave this to us. He did a painting for us, and that is actually going to be our logo. So eventually we're going to have some T-shirts and whatnot of that. Can you see that real good, Edgar? Is that in a good shot?
That's perfect.
Heck yeah, perfect. It is perfect. So thank you so much, dude.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Reached out to him first because I knew for a fact that he was going to give me exactly what I asked for him. I admire your works. We're going to dig into it. And then over here, Dave, introduce us to your friend over here.
We got my man Deion Mays, the creator of Tribe, the whole Tribe movement right here. It's a beautiful thing if you don't know. We got the hoodies, crews, Scullies, dad hats, baseball jerseys. This is my man, been my man for a couple years now. Great dude. Thought this would be a good way to help elevate the business that's already going to the top, man. Tell me a little about yourself, Deion.
Well, I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I joined the military pretty much after a year in college at Alabama State University. And my first base was here in Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. Been here for almost 3 years now, if not more. Soon to be going to Cali, so hey, started this brand because I wanted to start a movement to let people know, like, if you have a dream, chase that. So never give up on what you believe in.
Absolutely. Which is absolutely our mission statement and our motto is to show you that you can do anything that you want to do if you have a dream, which actually you are in a similar situation, right? Because you were not always doing this. I mean, I know you've loved drawing because I know that that's all you ever did.
Right.
Also, fun fact, you make really good duct tape wallets.
It's been a few years since I made duct tape
But you made me my first one.
But yes,
I wish I still had it. But I mean, tell us exactly. I mean, you were briefly discussing it, but let us know like what happened because I know you were kind of working a job and doing this on the side, but really wanted to kind of be self-sufficient, right?
Right. So I've been drawing and painting all my life, and it really just kind of got to the point where I wanted to take it to the next level. I kept hearing a lot of people talking about how, follow what you do or do what makes you happy, and the work comes. And I got to that point where I was like, I wanted to do what made me happy. Now, granted, right now this is still a side hustle. I don't do it full time, but I can see myself in the near future making this a full time.
Because I know for a fact that you're getting booked more and more, right? I mean,
yeah.
Your growth. So it hasn't been like you had the idea, you wanted to do it, and then overnight, boom, this is what I do.
No.
You've had to lay some groundwork and you've had to put some work in, but over time, people are starting to kind of recognize and it gains momentum, right? Because you're doing stuff. I saw that you actually are going. You go to a lot of car shows because you don't just do custom art. You do pinstriping on vehicles and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah.
So what all do you actually are you capable of doing? That's
airbrushing, mural work, canvas artwork, logo design. I mean, nothing's really off base. Anything that has to do with art and creating and putting out a positive vibe into the world. That's what I'm shooting for.
And also a challenge.
And it's also, and I look for all challenges, no matter what it is. I don't say no, but I also know where, if it's going to be a good fit with me and a client,
Right.
That's where I'll draw the line. If it's not going to be a good fit for me and the client, I'll send them to somebody who I believe is quality work. That's what I recognize in people, and their quality and, their integrity. So,
At what point, like, during your time of being an artist, because like, as every artist is, all of us, like, as a kid,
right?
Like, what were you doing, like, that where it kicked in, where you was like, you know what, I think this is what I want to do, like sitting in a room like everybody else outside playing, but yet you're in a room drawing He-Man and stuff like that?
Well, I was definitely a kid that played outside and did all that, and rode bikes and skateboarding and everything outside. And I guess where I really got most of the inspiration to really go after it was actually my older brother. He was 4 years. He's 4 years older than me, so he was establishing things that he liked way before me, and I just was always. I always admired that, and I always looked up to him. So when he got me into the pinstriping thing, it really reignited my art passions later on, in my teens and my early 20s.
So Big Bro was like a big part of you wanting to be an artist?
Yeah, he exposed me to it and got me, showed me what it was all about, and so that's what really ignited the pinstriping thing.
Did you ever have a downtime where, like, you wasn't doing it, but at the same time it's like, damn, you almost feel like at a loss when you're not doing what you know that you truly love?
I haven't had that in a long time.
That's time.
When I was 15, 16, and I was thinking about college and going through high school and stuff, I knew at a certain point my parents weren't going to pay for me to go to college, so I knew I was going to have to hustle and work hard. So I actually, when I turned 16, I had 3 jobs in high school plus going to school, because I knew what I wanted out of life. My parents weren't going to help me.
You had a sweet truck too because of it.
Chevy, I rebuilt the motor in and customized and did all types of stuff too.
But it was awesome.
I got away from it when I was, from about 15 to 19. I was working. I actually joined the military after high school. Got married real young, and the art thing really took a back seat to life. But when I was in my early 20s, I really got into it more. And then actually, not to bring down the mood, but when I was going through my divorce with my first wife, it's what really put me back into love with art, because it was it was therapy for me.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what's your favorite, like, type of art, or like what's your favorite genre of art?
There's a couple answers to your questions. My favorite type of art to do is actually that watercolor stuff, like the painting I gave you guys.
Right.
It's very relaxing.
It's dope.
Thank you very much. And it's not. I don't feel pressure. Like when I'm doing pinstriping at car shows, I have 20, 25, 30 people standing around watching me.
Oh, yeah,
no big deal.
On the spot?
Yeah,
now,
it's on
with
the
those,
on the
is
spot.
that
It's
like
like
you doing
barbering
fine?
almost.
Yeah.
Because you have to get it right the first time. Like when you're
Yeah.
barbering, like, you got one shot.
Oh,
Once
yeah.
the hair is
You
gone,
can't
you
recut
can't
it,
put
yeah.
it back on your head. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, like, is that pressure almost like relaxing for you? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny, and I have kind of a perspective on that. Is so I do these car shows, and I go all over the country with them.
Right.
Well, I had my birthday, and I had a bunch of car guys there, and actually one of my buddies had me do a small thing right there on the spot, and they're all standing in my studio, and I was uncomfortable in that point. But when I'm doing these car shows, it's not a thing. I get into the mindset, I get in the
Right.
mood.
It's like a crunch time. You're trying to give them what they want.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't think about it. You're trying to create it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to hustle because I'm like,
And
I
that
need
flow
to,
of it,
yeah. I want to make a lot of money. As it may
Right.
sound greedy, but it's
Well, no, it's your passion for it. You know
Right.
what I mean, you want to do it the right way.
right.
Well,
It-
especially
you get
when you
compensated
see
for it.
there's other people who, and you don't have to say it, I can say it, but other people who aren't as good as you, and they're making a lot of money off of that. So yeah, you want to make your money off of what you do, especially when you know that it's good art.
And the goal is not to make the money because I love the money. It's I want to make the money to be able to do this full time,
self-sufficient,
and be self-sufficient and support my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And them not having to worry about where's the next paycheck coming
and
from.
you
Financial
know that
freedom.
you're loving it,
Right.
waking up, loving what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you now as a sidebar, and I don't know if I can still find this, but this dude did like the best self-portrait, like a portrait of Jesus Christ. My dad bought it.
Yeah.
My dad bought. We went to church together. That's how I met him. Was going to church, and my dad actually bought it at a silent auction. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that piece. Yeah.
I don't know because see, my dad had his own concrete company, and that was kind of one of my hardships. Was like, we had a company. We weren't doing union work, but we were doing well for being, like a non-commercial. We were doing commercial and residential work, but.
Right.
We still, in the grand scheme of things, we were a drop in the bucket, but we were doing fine,
Yeah.
And then when the housing market went bad in 07, he was just like, nah, I'm cool. We had just built a big house, you know what I mean, that he was supposed to retire in.
Mm-hmm.
And our bills went way up and our income went way down because 14 of our 15 contractors went bankrupt.
Right.
So he ended up telling me on a blind side, was like, hey, just so you know, and I'm playing in a band at the time, like trying to get my dream. And he's like, well, me and your mom and sister are moving. We're going to sell everything we own in an auction and we're out of here. We want you to go with us, but I understand if you don't. I was like, what do you have coming up right now? I mean, you said, so where all are you going so far that you have booked for the year as far as car shows go?
So I'm pretty much finished up this year. I got a few
Right.
commissions and clients and that kind of thing for the year. But next year, I'm booked for Cali. I'll be out there 21st through 27th of January. I'm going to, I think I'm going to Nebraska in April or May.
Nice.
Maybe going to Texas in April. Trying to think of what else I got going. I know I've got Indiana later on in the year next year.
So my point is you are not scared to go anywhere that
No.
people need you to stripe a car,
Right.
right?
And that's part of quote unquote the business plan is it's to grow the business you have to be able to grow and get outside your comfort zone,
Yeah.
quote unquote the city, that kind of thing. So
Adaptation.
that's right. So yeah, I'm not afraid to go anywhere I need to be, or hey, even if I don't have business, I'll go there to drum up business as well.
awesome.
So I'm gonna let this man work.
That's good. So what I think was kind of cool is you both mentioned that you were both in the military, and this is the day after Veterans Day, so I guess we need to take a second and say thank you. Both Air Force, right?
Thank you all to all the veterans who risked their lives,
Absolutely.
put their lives
Absolutely.
on the line for us to be over here cutting hair.
Because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be able to sit here and have a cool podcast.
Straight up.
Right
So
now.
right on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This has been
Appreciate
fun
that.
for me.
Appreciate
So
it.
thank you, absolutely. So let me ask you a question, Deion. What is your goal that you are trying to get to? Like, what's the end game that you see, or the next big thing for Tribe, for your clothing company?
So honestly, like how I feel like every clothing brand would like to be is like to be big and everything. But the message that I'm pretty much trying to set out for everybody is pretty much, if you have a dream, go out and get it. No matter like the setbacks or the like complications that you face or anything, just I guess retrack your steps and build up off of that.
Has it been easy for you the whole time you've been doing it, or have you? I mean, I'm assuming you've ran into quite a few setbacks.
Yes. It's honestly, it hasn't been that easy. Honestly, it's been other logos and other names that I've started with. It hasn't started off with Tribe. I also started off with Swag, but it didn't blow off as good as Tribe.
Yeah.
Like
Not
the
genuine.
name behind
Like
it.
the swag is not as genuine as Tribe. Like when you can tell like the passion behind Tribe.
Explain what the logo means. I mean, I found that to be
it's
pretty intriguing
dope.
and awesome.
So the logo behind it, it's an owl with the dream catcher. The dream catcher pretty much symbolizes all good dreams and bad dreams are caught inside of the dream catcher, but the feathers off of the dream catcher is pretty much the meaning behind it is if a little child is sleeping, all the good dreams trickle off of the feathers into it, and all the bad dreams are caught inside the web. So they aren't able to go anywhere, but the good dreams are able to travel wherever they can inside of the little kids' dreams and everything. So therefore, with that being said, take your dreams as far as you want and build off of that. And the owl, you get to pretty much just see what you go through. Nobody else can see the hard work that you put into your craft. And that pretty much just symbolizes like the change within yourself and reality that you put into it.
It's dope. Because I love the owl, man. You know, you think about the owl head moving all the way around, it sees everything, you know, all the way. And I had a crazy story, man. One day, me and Deion, man, like, because when he started this, man, we just talking about it like, dude, great idea. We push it. And I'm sitting outside, and everybody know I like to share visions with the Most High. You dig? So I'm going to put something in the air. And as I'm standing outside my house, man, it's a basketball goal. And this big-ass owl comes land on the goal, man. And it's, like, right next to me. And I'm looking up at it like, so you just not going to move, right? And he sat there, man. He sat there for a solid 30 minutes, man.
He peered into your soul, didn't he?
Kept looking at me, man, like he was staring at me. And I'm like, damn, now, you know, owls, birds in general, you take a step, they're like, let me get up out of here. That owl was not sweating me, man. It was almost like he felt the energy that I was putting out, man. So I always love owls, man.
Do you know what the symbolism is if you actually see an owl?
What does that mean?
And I'm not making this up. You can look it up. But symbolism of you actually seeing an owl is like a time for you to step back and reflect and kind of oversee your movements in life. Yeah. It's like for you to take a step to kind of, because it sees, you know what I mean? And it's a calm predator, you know what I mean? And so you never see an owl seem like really temperamental, like a squirrel, you know what I mean? It's real calm and wise for a reason. So it's if you happen to see one of those, the symbolism is supposed to mean like kind of reflect inward and take a look at your life and your movements and kind of reassess your situation.
And one thing about, because, man, I got a lot of people who do a lot of things, man, like who try to get their brands off of stuff, man. And everything that people doing, man, it's not just something you can feel. I support, I want everybody to do good. I just want to say that, first of all. But it's some things that, like, you just feel.
Yeah,
you know, you're like, man, this is a good movement right here, good dude. We gonna try to push this, man. And I have watched, you know, hundreds of people. I watched celebrities get the tribe gear, you know, like he passed it to him or I passed it to him, and you know, I could tell genuinely that they're like, bro, this is dope shit. Where can I get some more of this, you know? And what's crazy, man, is like in the months to come, man, like you're going to see this like actually on TV, man. Like it's going to be bigger than that because I've watched famous people, you know. Shout out to Lil Fizz, shout out to Jazzy Faye. Like these dudes are actually like seeing the gear and like, yo, my cousin Fresco, he love it. You know, I'm watching him do a show in front of 1,000 people, and when he up there, he rocking that tribe. You know what I'm saying? And like just to see that, I'm like, yeah, dude, like that's dope. That's really dope. And plus, not to mention, man, like just like our business, you know, man, you can go drop $1,000 on clippers and all your new supplies, and then you don't have no appointments. You know what I'm saying? And this is the same thing with your art, man, and like the stuff you do. Like you get everything, and then sometimes it's stagnant. Sometimes you gotta wait. But that right there is actually what makes you like a good businessman. It brings everything into perspective, man, because everything's not gonna be fast, man. I'm like yin and yang. I see you gotta know down before you know up. You gotta know slow before you know fast, man. It's all. Hey, what my man Meek say is levels to it, man.
Well,
real.
that and there's only so far one person can take something. I mean, you're gonna hit a ceiling, but that's where your limitation is. So then you add someone else into the mix that knows maybe an expert level of your business or your game that you don't, and that's what elevates it to that next level. So I mean, I've always been a firm believer in having a group of people. I mean, Ford was like the prime example of that. Henry Ford, man, he had a whole bunch of people around him, and that's kind of how he was able to make all things happen for him, because he had guys that were thinking for him. So he has like, here's this vision that I have. Now you guys let me know.
Put a magnifying glass on it.
Yeah, like you guys. Yeah,
I got the vision amplified.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean that's kind of. I mean, with you having people that are putting that and wearing it, those are outlets that you wouldn't normally have. You know what I mean? So that's the whole point of it. So
My bad.
I haven't had a chance to ask you this question, but I touched on a few times about it, my struggle with addiction and how I had a lot going for me, and then it went from like feeling like I had the world in my hands to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone always gets the perspective from my side of it, but I mean I consider you like one of my brothers. I mean you've been one of my closest friends for my entire life since we've met. So I mean how was that for you? I mean I never had even had a chance to ask you that, if it affected you or how it felt, or and then having the moments where you did see me where I was doing good, and then you even ran into me a few times when I wasn't doing so good, and it was like I could see it in your face, and I just didn't say nothing. But
Yeah. Well, it's obviously hard to where when you care about somebody so much that you want to do everything you can for them, and that was the point where it's like, man, I wish there was there was so many times where it's like I wish I could do something to pull you out of that situation, to do something to help. But there's times where it was like I can't. There's nothing I physically can do to get you through this. Like there's points, and it may not always seem like it, but there's points in situations like that where you have to go through them to grow, to learn. And it's like I would love, and if you would have said, "Hey man, could you?" I'd have been there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been no questions asked. But there was times where it was just like, dude, I physically there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
To help to fix the situation, even being the kind of person I am where I always want to immediately jump in and go I need to fix this.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So it broke my heart, but when there was those times where you were on top of the world, when you were in the band and going through all that, it was like I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him to see where he's at and where he's become and where he came from.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, I know the kind of person you are, that you'll be back there. It's not a matter of when, or it's not a matter if, it's a matter of when.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's what's up. Good thing you made it, bro. Yeah, for sure.
So it always helps, like when you have situations like that, to have good people around you. You know what I'm saying? Because, for one reason or another, you know what I'm saying. When people lean towards, substance abuse, it's usually something else that's going on in life that pushes that person in that direction. And, that's the real seed or the nucleus of the thing. You know what I'm saying? So when you got good people around you to help you deal with the nucleus and not so much as the substance abuse, that's what actually helps. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go through stuff like that. And,
I know that
Yeah, it's tight.
a way for me that I had to think about things was, since you said the seed, I mean, my thoughts were the biggest culprit for me not being able to progress, and me constantly having negative outcomes, and why I was always self-medicating was because your thoughts are like the seed that you're planting. No matter what, your head's always having thoughts. So whether you have a goal, or whether you are complaining constantly about the same thing because you don't like the outcome of it or whatever, I mean, your thoughts are the seed that you're planting for that season, right? You know what I mean? Metaphorically speaking. So it's like I had to realize every one of my habits and my movements,
Right.
and how I was feeling inside, to be able to get myself to a better place to where I could get in a good routine, and I could get some discipline. And it had a whole lot to do with changing my thinking and changing my perspective on a lot of things, and being open for stuff, and then looking in the mirror and having that moment where I could own my own faults and flaws, be okay with it, and stop worrying about what everybody thought about me, man, because I was taking on so many limitations that were being projected onto me that it became to the point where I didn't even have a thought of my own. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to live a life that 100 different people wanted me to live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't be successful, and you can't have a dream, and you can't do that. You can't. So I think if the best advice I could give somebody that's at that point where maybe you want to start your own company, or you want to be an artist or a musician or whatever it is you want to do, have a clear-cut vision of what that is and what your definition of success is. If playing in a room for 40 people a night at a club is your level of success and that's you making it, then go get that and be cool with that and be okay with that no matter what anybody says. If you going through barber school and cutting 10 clients a week is your level of making it, then make that be okay. Whatever it is, just know exactly who you want to be and make that happen no matter what anybody says.
Right.
That's it. I mean, and it's a lot harder to be a jerk than it is to be nice and courteous and kind.
It really is.
It really is.
No, it ain't that hard to be an asshole for real.
No, it definitely is.
Not an asshole.
Oh, no.
All assholes got to get wiped. So you got to be wiped out at some point and be exhausted. I'm telling you. It's a lot harder to be more. It's more mentally taxing and emotionally taxing on you and make you more exhausted. You won't. I mean, because if you're stressing and worrying, that puts your body in a state of defense mode, like fight or flight. So your body's not meant to be in that state. It's naturally supposed to be calm, free, happy. I mean, we're here to create. We're here to serve each other. That's the whole point of being here. We're we're the highest form of creation that He has. We have a conscious thought and a mind. Like other animals that are intelligent and smart don't get that. They don't get to have that thought and question things and create things and get and evolve things. We're like the only breed that gets that. So we're here to help each other, and you know what I mean. It's a fine line that you have to walk, man. You can be that person where you like are kind to each other and realize that, and just hold a door open for somebody.
Yeah.
Instead of
I just said that the other day. I
You know what
walked
I
in,
mean?
dude just swung the door. I said, "Oh, well, I come from a time where people held the door for me."
Yeah. I mean,
I was
or
offended like
you
I
ever
was
had
offended by that
somebody
shit,
cut you
man.
in line at the grocery store, like
Yeah.
any of that? It's just, to me, it's funny now because it's like everybody's in such a hurry. You know what I mean? I know you like holding doors for people. You're a big advocate of the high five, are you still?
Yes.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
something about it, man. I like high fiving strangers. I got that from you. I'm telling you, like, it's just to be able to give that back to people and smile. Like, it's really contagious for you to frown at somebody and say something off-putting to let that roll over to that person having that. Or you could just be kind and smile and hold the door for somebody because you don't know what kind of day they're having. And you can affect them in a better way. You never know what's going on. And I mean, I feel like in a time where there's a lot of people that would rather kill themselves than deal with it. And there's people that would rather self-medicate than deal with it.
Somebody else.
It is okay. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be upset. And it's also okay to get back up off your butt and keep moving. That's it. That's my whole mission for all of this. But let's wrap this up. I want to thank you, Dan, Knucklehead, Kustom
Thank
Arts,
you.
right?
Knucklehead
Thanks for
Custom
having me
Arts.
on. Appreciate it.
Deion, Mace,
With the
Tribe,
Tribe.
Movement.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
We
thank you
appreciate
guys.
you fellas
And
for
again,
showing up.
Yeah,
make sure you check out the Philly Wagon STL, home of the Super Philly. It's a foot-long Philly. It's so good, so good. They got to put a cape on it. I swear, it's delicious. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. And then we're here. I swear. And then we're coming to you from Empire Barbershop right
Yo,
here
shout
in
out Empire
Belleville.
Barbershop.
Please give the address. Dave, hit him with it.
7624 West Main. Say it one more
Man,
time for the folks in the back.
7624 West
West Main.
Main.
Shout out our videographer and our sound guy,
Absolutely.
Edgar and Alex, man. You
Edgar.
guys,
Edgar,
it's
Alex.
been fucking,
Edgar, we appreciate you.
it's been
fellas.
grand.
Last thing, real fast, make sure
Warren G in the house.
Make sure you subscribe to the
What up?
page, like the video, share the video, click on these guys' links. Keep checking back with us. It's going to be a
Follow
whole
me on
lot more to come.
Snapchat, OLIEA88. My shit's rare.
He said he hopes you cha-cha
Oh,
slide
yeah.
into his DMs. Man.
Yes, sir.
No. But thank you guys so much. And who knows, man, maybe we have you guys come back on and we'll have that t-shirt idea or something.
gotta
We'll do
come
something.
back and get cut.
I want to get to the point where maybe we can do something fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe when we hit our first 100 subscribers,
Yo,
we'll do a giveaway.
He
or
gonna
something,
pinstripe some titties on camera.
yeah? Come on, man.
Now everybody, his
right.
wife's gonna kick his ass, man.
It's the fade. Later.
first installment, first segment for After the Cut. We're going to be going out and reaching out to businesses and coming into them and doing a little quick interviews and just kind of giving you guys an inside look to some of the places that we support, some of our friends. I chose to come here today for the first one with Brandon from Verona.
Yes, sir.
Verona Cafe right here in Collinsville, Illinois. Isn't this on Main Street? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Main Street.
if anyone knows where Bird's is, Bird's Chug Wagon, it's in the front of it. So Brandon, it's good to see you. Thank you for letting us come in
thanks,
here,
man.
man.
Thanks for coming.
What exactly? Like, how did this come about? How did this start? Where did you get the idea to kind of make the cafe happen? Because I know personally from coming to Bird's that this place has been a handful of transitions through a handful of things.
It has. This building's been a lot of things. They bought the building. My brother-in-law and his dad bought this building 10 years ago. And when they moved the highway, they had to move the old A-frame truck wagon that's been here
Which
for forever.
was like a
was
an
like a
epic landmark.
yeah,
I don't
it
even-
was like
I'm
a staple.
I can't tell you how many people were mad when they took that down.
Yeah, I bet.
Just like that old dingy feeling of the building.
Yeah, like that's my place. Yeah. So, anyways, they had to tear that down and move the highway, so they bought this building, which is the old Will Rogers Theater.
Yeah.
So it's an old movie theater from the 40s and 50s, and
I had no idea that was that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. This was like the front, like mezzanine area, and then that Burt's was the theater
Wow.
area.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
So, yeah. But yeah, so they bought that, put the chuck wagon in there, and then my brother-in-law had a t-shirt place out of the front of here for a while.
Remember that?
Did some photography stuff out of the front because he's a photographer, and then it kind of just sat for a while because he started doing more of his work out of his house. Him and my sister were doing that, and then a couple of years ago they got the opportunity to buy a whole bunch of used coffee equipment from a place in Troy that went out of business.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
they got a streaming deal on all this stuff, and it was just kind of like too good to pass up. So
Yeah.
they went ahead and got it, and then they just let that stuff sit for a few more years, and then it was just so happened the time was right. I was moving out here with my fiance from Colorado because we'd lived there our whole lives, and we wanted to kind of be closer to family. And I had some cafes out in Colorado, and that's kind of what I did.
That's
In
awesome.
my 20s, I did a coffee roastery and everything, and then so when I moved out here, we kind of just talked about making this happen. So
that all kind of just fell
kind of
fell
all
in
fell
place and
together,
fell
yeah.
didn't it?
And I mean, so
That's awesome.
I also have I did a lot of construction in my earlier years, and so I built all of this.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was nice that we just kind of closed the front for a couple months here, remodeled it,
made it what you wanted,
and
yeah.
made it what we wanted it,
That's awesome.
and then they already had the equipment, and it just kind of fell into place.
Fell right into place. Yeah, that's awesome. So,
That's-
how long did it take? Because man, I swear to you, anytime I get a coffee from you, you always make it taste exactly how you explain it will. But how long did it take for you to kind of get the ability to be able to
Do
put
the
those
latte?
designs? And yeah, man, those are so awesome.
The latte art, yeah, it took a while, man. I've been doing some coffee. My first job ever when I was 15 was at a coffee shop. So on and off for about 24 years. So, but latte art really didn't become a thing until about a decade ago, 10, 15 years ago. Nobody even knew what that
Right.
how it was.
Well, I mean, you even said you were telling me one time you've seen people do portraits of people, but
Right,
to the
yeah,
point where it's
yeah. They're
undrinkable, but it's
drawing
still.
it. Yeah, but it took you so long to draw this face on your coffee that it's cold and gross now. But it's gotten to be real extra on what they do on the top. But
That's awesome.
yeah, but it takes
A bunch of trying
a bunch of tries, man. I'd say 500 to 1,000 drinks to get
before you actually get it.
get just a heart mastered down, and
Yeah.
then another 500 to 1,000 to get a tulip. But
That's so much.
I mean, we're making a few hundred drinks a day, so
you hone it in now.
You get it honed in pretty quick. But yeah, it's really about how the coffee's prepared and how the milk is steamed, and if all that is done in the correct amount of time and done in the correct way, you can produce latte art.
Right.
That's kind of the standard in coffee shops now. If you made your espresso correctly with like a real nice crema. And if you ashed your milk correctly and steamed it really, really well, like you can put latte art on it, and then you know you're getting a good drink. So.
Right. Yeah, see, I came from like a background where my dad would drink pots of just straight black coffee.
Yeah, right.
So lattes was like a whole, blowing of my mind. I was like, oh man, I don't even know what to get.
Yeah, right.
What do you like? I'm like,
There's
I
so
have no
many
idea what I like.
flavors.
My dad was like, here, try this seriously strong black coffee, and I didn't like it.
No.
So
no,
I had
nobody-
I had this. I was just like, no, I'm cool. I don't like it. Now I have to have it. I feel like in the morning to kind of keep going.
Yeah.
So then let me ask you a question. Kind of walk us through. I mean, you've been open now for almost 2 years. You're coming up
Yeah.
on 2 years in a couple of months. So,
Yep.
how did it take? Like, what are the differences? Like when you first opened it now, how have you been able to see the growth? I mean, was it kind of?
Well, when we first opened, we only had like one little chalkboard menu, which is what we offered, and it was mostly just drinks and a couple pastries. Now we've got like over I think over 40 different syrup flavors. We can make over 30 different types of coffee drinks.
Right.
We have frozen drinks, ice drinks, hot drinks,
Yeah.
teas, chais, smoothies.
Yeah, you got it all. I'm sitting here looking. We've got at least 5 boards. We'll put a
Yeah.
picture of it up because now you guys even offer what? You got full. My kids are super big on the breakfast of the
Right,
biscuits
yeah.
and gravy. My son was mad at me today because I wasn't going to bring any home with him after he's already at school.
Yeah, we might have to send you home with
They're
some.
really good, and it's
Yeah.
I like the fact that you can come to a small place that's tucked in,
Right.
and not be a big corporation. It's really affordable, and you're supporting people who are passionate about it. So I mean, I know it's hard at times running your own business, but I mean, you strike me as the guy that still wakes up and like really enjoys what he does, right?
I do, man. I mean, I try to start my day off. Every day is a good day.
Yeah.
So every day is a new day.
Yeah.
So every day is a good day. Doesn't matter what yesterday was. Doesn't matter what tomorrow is. Today's a good day. And you have the opportunity to make it a good day no matter what.
Yeah.
And then what I like about this job is that like every day you know try to make somebody else have a good day.
Yeah,
When they come in,
especially too, it's their morning that starts.
Right,
How
yeah.
many mornings have you had, especially with kids, where it starts off on the wrong foot, where you get beat down?
Yeah,
from
well,
the-
that was like this morning, man. My kid, he woke up at like, I mean, I get up at like 4:30 anyway. So,
Right.
but at like 3:45, man, he woke up and threw up in his crib.
Oh, great.
So that means I get up at 3:45.
Did you have the baby?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not
So
yet.
you're expecting a baby, right?
Yeah,
you're
we're
not.
expecting
But
it. No, yes.
Yeah.
No, we're actually gonna find out today when they're gonna either if she turned and we're going to schedule her induction, or if she hasn't turned and we're schedule her C-section. So we find out today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so within the next 2 weeks for sure.
So that's kind of my point to that. And the question is, you have so much going on at home, and then you're trying to manage this and run this as well. So
Yeah.
it would be very easy for you to like let that stress kind of bog you down, because I mean, you're even saying too, aren't you guys working on your own personal roast? Or
We are, yeah. We
process of
just started roasting our own coffee, so that's a whole other animal too.
How big of a process? I don't even know the process of that. So kind of walk me through. I mean, what does that entail?
Okay, so
Briefly, without really digging into it. I mean,
well, briefly, we get to choose our own beans from around the world. We get to order them. They're called the green beans because they're green when they're unroasted, green coffee beans, and we so we'll get to pick and choose now instead of just buy what our distributors.
yeah, so this would be yours.
This will be our coffee that we've picked. We like this.
You can hone in on the
We
flavor
can
that you want.
roast it
right?
exactly how we want it. We can have a light roast, a medium, a dark. We can
So it just opens the door of possibilities for
Oh, yeah.
branding and then really
yes,
standing
exactly.
alone, right?
Standing alone, having our own brand of coffee, our own unique style and taste of coffees. It really does help our expense too, of course, because if you're buying something like unprocessed wholesale versus somebody's roasted finished product,
Right.
I mean, there's a dramatic price difference. So that's going to be really good for business,
Yeah, that's
but it'll be good for the customer too because they'll get a fresher, more unique cup of coffee that way.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's a labor of love for you, so it's really going to have that behind it.
Right,
I
exactly.
feel like when you get something that somebody's really passionate about,
Yeah.
putting their whole
It'll be cool
heart and
because
soul
we'll
into
be
it,
able
too.
to say that like we from start to finish, like Verona Coffee Company, like this is our coffee. Like we roasted this coffee, we brewed this coffee, and we served it to you. Like the whole process from the tree to the cup.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome, man, to see that. You know what I mean? You went from going, we're going to move close to home, to now you're saying, well, we're going to have our own brand of coffee.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're telling us about the roast, and that's coming up, I would assume, sometime next year.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try to have a house blend out by Christmas, so in a couple weeks.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so we're working on that right now. We're just trying to, just dial in how we want that to taste and whatnot. And so we're really hoping we'll have that out by Christmas, at least just our house blended coffee. And then we're gonna have a variety of like single source Arabica specialty coffees that we're gonna offer throughout the season of like what's getting harvested at different times of the year. We'll have different types of coffee.
You can kind of find your stride for it. Yeah,
Right,
awesome.
exactly. And then we're gonna we'll get our own espresso roasts.
I'm looking forward to that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the espresso. I'm a fan of that.
Yep.
So then let me ask you this. I know you got the roasts and that's kind of next level. So what's your 2020 goal? What are you looking to really accomplish with Verona?
I think what we want to do, what my sister and Joel's vision is, and what I would like to see is that like we want to get more people in here that like are staying here. Coffee to go is great, but we kind of want to make it
You
more
want
like
it where you come in
like
and spend time.
Spend time in here, like have your meetings in here, have
Yeah.
lunch in here. We're gonna expand our food menu a little bit, more of a brunch style lunch menu. Add some like lunch style sandwiches.
Well, I'll shake your hand on it right now on camera, so it's binding. But I'm a life coach and a leadership coach, so I actually had someone who's like, "Oh man, well you should meet at cafes and call yourself the cafe coach." So I'll absolutely conduct my meetings.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I
Man.
do.
All right, deal.
So anytime I need to work with somebody or have a meeting, I will be here at Verona for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put your links on there, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're always
thanks,
busy.
man.
Thank you
No,
for
I
letting me come
appreciate
in,
it,
man. I
man.
really
Yeah.
enjoyed this.
Good, man.
I can tell you personally, I come in here several times a week, and we love it. And I'm driving, a 20-minute drive from Bubba. Yeah, dude, and I don't mind it. I love it. It's worth it. I would rather come support this and support what you guys have going on because, that's what we're doing. We're in here trying to
Awesome.
support people and lift them up instead of doing norm that's kind of been happening where everybody likes to keep people pushed down. You know what I mean? So that's the whole purpose of the show. Thank you guys for stopping in with this. This is After the Cut. Glenn, it's Brandon from Verona. We'll see you next time. It's the Fade Podcast. We'll see you later.